This week on Hermitcraft.
So is the layout different now?
So I'm still kind of mid.
Welcome to the Hermitcraft Recap. My name is Pixelriffs. Our writer is LoyXP. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. And if you want more inside scoop of how we make the Hermitcraft Recap than what we've already shown you elsewhere on this channel, I recently dropped in on the Imp and Skiers podcast alongside my friend and Spawn Chunks co-host Joel to chat about what it's like making a weekly show obsessing over one very nerdy subject, and also the Hermitcraft Recap. We'll link that everywhere a YouTube video will let us put links. Thanks again to Impulse and Skiers for not kicking me out when I admitted to watching their videos at 3 times speed.
Obviously it's been refined a little bit, but I honestly think from day one we have not changed that much about that Google Doc that's just our show structure.
Another cool thing fans will be happy to know, especially 5 very particular fans, is that Azumavoid has now finished his part of the fan art gallery, and not only put 5 chosen arts onto the actual Hermitcraft server, but showcased most of the submissions in his video for the week.
So I want to extend my thanks not only to the people who participated in this gallery event, but to all the people that have done this in the past. It's brought me immense joy and pleasure, and I can't thank you enough.
Actually, Azuma's week is very much tied into the arts, since this time he finishes the Hermitcraft logo on the server map, but that's more of a crochet pattern by comparison. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week. Starting with Pearlescent Moon, who took a long walk on a thankfully even longer pier.
Really?
Yeah. I think he would love this as well. It's a shame, you know, he just isn't here for some reason.
After Impulse suggested they remodel the temporary fishing pier into a replica of a real-life pier in San Diego, Pearl took the opportunity to visit the pier on her recent trip for TwitchCon, and with all that reference footage, time-lapses a magnificent pontoon, although hers has a nether portal at the end, not a fish and chip restaurant.
But yeah, there's the dock at the moment. I'm going to show Impulse the next time I see him online.
You can catch fish, of course, but you might risk hooking something eldritch if you're too close to Gemini Tay's waters. Pearl plans to reel in some customers over at Ravager Rush, which didn't reopen until a few days ago. But before that, she popped up a frog coin shop to resell all the tokens she obtained from her third place, but still very respectable, Ravager Rush high score. And don't worry, it's not scamming Etho as hard as it looks.
Well, I mean, kind of much of a bigger froggy, but I think he's adorable. He's a quick little one that I just chucked together. But
if Etho wants to fight about it though, he'll have to learn the first rule of Fight Club, which is that you have to be invited to Fight Club. Pearl is invited by Cubfan, who challenges her to a Rocket Arena duel and nudges her in the direction of hiding a Mace PvP Coliseum somewhere on the server. The Rocket Launcher Arena is then put through a more robust test when the cast of Joel Smallish Beans' hit podcast attempts a team deathmatch. They also make a contraption that bonks them on the head with slime blocks. This is not what House of Pain meant when they said jump up, and get down.
The synchronization is the best part.
bye, guy.
Well, Cub gets his fair share of jumping when he challenges False Symmetry to a round of the Mace Race mini-gace, with the dubious prize of running it against Rendog.
So he thinks he's hot stuff. So here's what I'm proposing, False. We challenge Ren.
I'll be honest, I didn't know that was the whole trophy, so now I'm like even more down for that.
Right?
The time between outings is mostly filled with Skulk, just like any nearby area surrounding Cub's base. To Azuma's crochet, this has got to be tie-dyeing. Emphasis on the dyeing. But server mates won't have to wait for Cub to reach their bases, just to stare a little too long into the void. Prompted by Joe Hills, Cub has built a railway that takes you from the overworld through the nether and all the way to the end portal, all in one convenient ride. It's also the same end portal that has its fortress intersect with the trial chamber and a whole geode, so worth visiting just to marvel at this mess of world generation. Speaking of world generation, Joe continues to remove it from the Homedale area, and at this point he's become the master of making that someone else's problem. Not the removal itself, but the byproduct. As in, Etho, please buy this product.
Over the last several weeks, I have been making a lot of trips over here to help out our pal Etho fill in his chests full of stone.
Of course, Etho's drop-off point for all this stone got repossessed by the Popo, and Joe makes it his mission to make it look possessed, shaping it into a slime-like chest monster that's sloshing in through the windows of the Popo HQ.
Now, this is a reasonable amount of stone chests, but that's not really the statement we want to make.
It doesn't matter that Scar caught him halfway, he's willing to overlook it until Joe has made his point and slapped some googly eyes onto it. Even Etho appreciates the bit as long as the permit officers are more responsible for the cleanup than he is, but this kind of grey area crime might hurt Joe's chances of representing the defense in the case of the People versus Mumbo Jumbo.
Wow. How long did this take you? This is a lot of,
Literally weeks. I've been working on this quietly for weeks, and only about 2 days ago, Scar was like, "Hey Joe, what's up with that pile of stone in my backyard? Does Etho not realize it's getting bigger?"
The anti-Poe leasing sentiment continues to spread as Ijevin, dressed as a cow for Halloween, visits Vintage Beef, which is a fascinating reunion given the name. The recruitment of fresh meat for the Resistance is aided by the fact that Jevin has printed out more banner variants for the Say No to the Poe campaign with equally compelling slogans. The rest of the cow goes into item frames for postage.
These are great.
I gotta thank you. Shout out to my patrons, because in that Hermitcraft patron chat, we just go hard on the okay, I need a new slogan, and then we just hash it out, and they help out so much.
While he toils at the pixel-by-pixel writing, Etho has made him a new Ravager Rush layout to try, and is all too happy to run it by Jevin, and even run it over Jevin. Starting to think he doesn't even need any of the frog lights, this guy. Pity, they would have actually fit nicely into the more Halloween-y parts of Jevin's custom roofed forest.
As we go through, I've been decorating it for Halloween.
I can see that.
You'll hear custom sounds now. Says
Spooky stuff.
Yeah. There's a wolf howl and wind blowing and trees rustling. It's pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
XB Crafted has to deal with the very real horror of customer feedback, and unfortunately it hasn't had the desired effect if he was hoping for testimonials about Mumbo's iron shop being too noisy. What he gets instead is Impulse SV saying we have golden carrots at home, and Etho asking him to lower the prices.
The store is beautiful, the produce is fresh, the selection superb. Best of all, I had the store all to myself. I was the only one shopping. It's because of the noise.
But he's recruited a heavy hitter to his legal team in the form of Doc M, a man who was sent to Skyblock jail after losing his own court case and now runs an underground poker den hidden by perhaps the most obvious reference to money laundering. And luckily he gets some real-time testimony from Gemini Tay, when Gem alerts him to the spread of iron pollution from Mumbo's shop into the grass in front of Half Foods. XB has no choice but to shut the store down while he seeks legal action and go back to working on his fish tanks.
This is affecting your business negatively for sure.
Hold on, this guy. Are you willing to sign a witness statement?
I hate paperwork. I'm willing to complain very loudly.
He'll find a kindred spirit in Impulse, who gets shop feedback in the form of Skizzleman grassing up his storage system. With grass blocks he didn't even pay for, he just took the free half of buy one get one free. And after dealing with this, Impulse also dives into the subterranean waters of his Metro Mayhem parkour course. Out back of the TMNT dojo build, he continues with a wind tunnel which flings wind charges at the contestants as they parkour their way above the sticky floor of soul sand. A lot of frog lights have ended up in these sewers where presumably they become adolescent freaky martial arts frog lights. And Impulse still plans to hire Zombie Cleo for another diorama where the Shredder and his cronies emerge from a Mario-style ceiling pipe. Shortly after that, a series of dolphin jumps will test players' ability to become a flying fish, and most of the course has already tested players' ability thanks to Skiz and Gemini Tay's willingness to have wind charges flung at them.
You made it!
Slow.
I was trying to keep the ground off of him.
Skiz is slow.
Yeah, he's going to go through the wind charge thing right now. Did it go off for you? Yeah, nice.
Well, Gem has her own trap to spring on people, as well as her own armor stand decoration, which may or may not be that trap. The key here are the vegetable patches leading up to her cliffside base, seasonally decorated with pumpkins and bigger pumpkins and smaller custom pumpkins. But importantly, also rigged to jump scare you if you come close to the vegetables.
Wait, it's actually epic. It's better than I intended it to be. Dude, I didn't design it to be this good.
For extra oomph, the pumpkin head armor stands even scream an Enderman at the intruders, or also Pearl, Rendog, Scar, and Tango, who are specifically invited to get jump scared.
You using pickles. I'm so... Ah!
I mean, I'm getting vibes. Oh!
What do we think?
Look
Yeah!
out, Tango! Shout and scream! Terrified!
Scar, he's so much worse than you, Scar.
Some of these people played Phasmophobia together. One of them never stopped, and it's Gem. In the many creepy things the game has on offer, Joel Smallish Bean settles on creepers specifically to farm for their precious disc drops. His creeper farming skyscraper actually has a toggle to switch between music making mode and the gunpowder farming one. All just because Doc M asked if he had the Honey Song on vinyl that one time. Well, though Doc probably won't need any more copies for his cabaret, Joel actually has a nice flow of assorted creeper sounds coming in through the hoppers, some even on music discs. And he will need a few DVD rewritables to help distribute his new hit podcast, Hermit Baths on Hermitcraft, where he asks assorted hermits questions while at his city sauna, as if hot tub streams weren't extremely overplayed by now.
Gemini, Tay, and Cub, how you doing?
Why'd you draw on some abs? Those are not real.
What do you mean? These aren't real. These are real.
False Symmetry drops by XB Crafted's own tub to grab some prismarine, since Grian's permitted shop is only made of the stuff, not filled with it. Having marvelled at the high contrast style of his base, False then returns to the commercial district, where last week Pearlescent Moon invited her to an especially spooky part of town to start her government-mandated netherplant store. Fittingly, False decorates the approach with custom sculpted blood spruce made of crimson warp blocks and raises a teal-roofed house for the actual storeroom. With the architecture like that on display, someone might actually buy some of the many sprouts and nyliums on offer. Sure, some of it literally grows on trees, but you know how cumbersome trees are to buy in this economy.
I'm a big fan. There's just one last thing I need to do, and that is stock the place, obviously. And because I have no interior yet, we're just gonna chuck a little vehicle here real quick and have them deliver.
Now that the shopping district is shaping up and the Popo are shaking down anyone who hasn't built according to their permits, Doc M77 decides he's better actually finish the laundromat that functions as the front for his high-stakes poker den. Because, of course, it's also meant to sell dirt. That doesn't mean the vending machines can't be stocked with heavy cores and enchanted golden apples, although I'd be surprised if anyone receives either at the press of a button.
Sprinkle some more life through that. Lots of air conditioning and venting units. But overall, I'm thinking it's a good industrial build.
But the shop, now named Wash and Fold, now also conceals tropical fish tanks in its 4 pillars, the better to remind the poker players below that they are swimming in money. The villager receptionist is also set loose in the shop, although he might be hard to find when you want to buy in for your game.
Ah, there we go. I gave him a name. He's called Drew Nuts.
At least, now Doc has replaced the smoking lounge with a pool table, the atmosphere downstairs will be less polluted. If only the same could be said for the grounds around Mumbo's shop, which XB Crafted calls Doc over to inspect as the lawyer for the prosecution in the case of the People vs. Mumbo Jumbo. And finally there's Mumbo, who seems blissfully unaware of the mounting legal proceedings as he works on the natural conclusion of his kelp farm, a kelp block-fueled auto-smelter.
So at the very least, we will break even on our kelp block.
He settles on a design which only smelts kelp when it could make a full block from the output, and while the shape may be a massive L, the smelter itself is a big W.
Genuinely might have to bend our super smelter around a corner. I don't know if I've got enough space to build one here.
He's even got bamboo as backup fuel in case the kelp doesn't go to plan, but he might want to rethink his trend of building the supporting blocks for the redstone wire out of gold in case the lawsuit demands to seize his assets. At least he finally remembers to update his database of redstone contraptions, so if you wanted an admission that he built an incredibly noisy iron shop, it's right there, in black and white. And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP, and my name is Pixel Riffs. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here, and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.